So today we're going to talk about 5 things that we think are probably the first 5 most important things to consider when going yard sailing if you really want to be successful.
We've been yard sailing for a number of years now, and we wanted to share our favorite tips and tricks on successful yard sailing.
If you're new to yard sailing, great. Hopefully you can get something out of this. If you're experienced and have some skills that we haven't talked about, by all means comment below. We plan on doing a lot of these videos, and we hope you like it, and we hope you learned something, or we just hope you had fun. So stay tuned for that. This is 5 things that we think everybody should be doing at yard sales. So it might be obvious to most, but the first thing you should consider when going to a yard sale is to greet everybody. Be nice, say hello, smile, make eye contact. A good morning goes a long way. Ask them how their yard sale's been going. Engage with the other yard sailors that are there with you. We've personally experienced grumpy people going to yard sales that aren't nice, get right to the point, then when they're told no, they leave. And we've had success going right after them and being friendly. In our opinion, if your goal is to be grumpy and just get what you want at a yard sales and move on and not really make any friends or have any small talk, it might not be the right thing for you. It can be frustrating, it can be challenging. You gotta make it fun by at least enjoying the people you're talking to. A good example is this yard sale. When we walked up, this guy was shooting out of his vehicle really fast over the yard sale, walked right up to the lady and said, "You have any video games?" And she said, "No, sorry." He said, "Okay," then he walked away. Looked around for a moment, then walked away. About 5 minutes later, we go up to the same yard sale, and we just talk to her. Ask her how her day is going, look at her stuff, just have small talk. And then we're like, "Hey, would you happen to have any video games for sale that might not be out here? Some examples are blah, blah, blah." We'll get into that. And she said, "You know what, I do." And she brought out a box, and we bought stuff from her. And she called us back later and sold us more stuff. A smile and good eye contact really went a long way.
The next topic we want to talk about is making friends with the people at the garage sale. Now, there's no reason to be fake. Be observant and see what's around, whether there's posters hung up in the garage, maybe there's weightlifting equipment, maybe the t-shirt they're wearing is a Zelda t-shirt, and talk some Zelda with them. If there's weightlifting equipment in the garage, talk about what kind of strength training they do. Anything that helps the conversation flow is going to make you more relatable to the person that's selling their items, and they're more likely to sell you something that you're interested in. If you spot that perhaps they're selling Sailor Moon items, talk about Sailor Moon. I personally like Sailor Moon a lot, and once we pointed that out, she brought me to the back of the garage and showed me something she wasn't sure if she was going to sell. But since she saw that I loved Sailor Moon and I could relate with her, she brought those items out for me to buy. Relating to them will make you more memorable. So if they jog their memory and they want to call you back, they'll remember that conversation that you had with them and give you a call.
Another tip is to engage with the kids at the yard sales. So what we mean is talk to them. If they're selling something, buy something from them. We frequently come across kids that are selling lemonade or maybe cookies they made the night before. A lot of work went into this. Sometimes their parents helped them with this, and it really, really behooves you to give them a buck or two, eat some cookies, smile. They really appreciate it, the parents really appreciate it, and a lot of times it's what's keeping the kids busy so they're not getting in the parents' way. So please spend some time with them. The other part is when you're engaging with the kids, if they're selling something, check it out. Maybe you want to buy it. Make sure you have the parents' permission and make sure the parents are also involved in the transaction so that everybody's happy. But sometimes the kids made knickknacks or we bought magnets from this yard sailor, and she was super happy that somebody was buying them. She was excited to show us, and the dad was excited too to tell us about the process, and we were super happy to buy it. And this is a good example where the son was actually selling his Switch games, and we asked him how much, he said how much, and looked at his mom for confirmation. The mom gave him a nod, and we said, okay, let's do that. And we bought games from him. It was a good deal for everybody, and he was super happy. Sometimes when the parents go inside, they're leaving you outside to wait, and sometimes they're leaving the kids outside to wait. If they're going in to find something for you that you've asked for instance. And this is a great time to chat with the kids and see how their day's going, you know. We find as video game players that they play video games too. Imagine that. So we'll talk about video games. What have you been playing recently? What do you think of it? Oh, I played that game as well. It's really important, and honestly, it's kind of fun. It's great to kind of live the nostalgia through what they're doing, and sometimes they're playing old stuff too, which is really neat.
So sometimes at garage sales, you'll see a friendly fur friend, whether it be a little dog or cat. If the owners are nearby and give you permission, go ahead and pet that kitty or doggy and, you know, talk about how cute they are, because pet owners love it when you talk about how good their pets are and what a good boy. It helps to engage with the owners at the garage sale and relate to them as fellow pet owners. This is a great example at this yard sale. This cat was super friendly and was all about interacting with the people. And the garage sale owner loved talking about his cat and went inside and grabbed some games for us and sold them to us. This pug was super excited, ran right up to us. I think his name was Bruce Wayne, and his owner was all about having us pet Bruce Wayne and talking it up with her. As long as you have the owner's permissions, always pet those friendly cats and dogs.
So the final topic we wanted to talk about is the core of our channel. So if you're new to our channel, we are video game hunters. We play video games together and we try to find them at yard sales if possible. So to do that, we need to ask. A lot of times when you go to a yard sale, they're selling a bunch of stuff you're not interested in, which is fine, but it's worth asking and finding out maybe if they have something else that you're looking for. Good example is us. We hunt for video games. So normally when we go to a yard sale, we're gonna say, hey, do you have any video games? And they're gonna go, let me think about it. It could remind them that maybe they forgot to bring something out to the yard sale. Maybe they had something else inside that they were considering selling, but nobody might ask about it. You never know. And don't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes people drive right by a yard sale thinking, it's just, they're selling knickknacks and clothes, they're not gonna have what we want. But I can tell you there are so many times where we stopped and asked and they surprised us. A good example is elderly couples running a yard sale. Sometimes they only have stuff that you're not interested in, but you learn that they actually had grandkids that played video games when they would come over and visit their grandparents. And now they've grown up and moved out of the house and they have old Nintendo 64 stuff that's 20 years old that they want to sell you and get rid of and make some money off of. So it's always worth the opportunity to ask.
So it's important to go into detail on what you're asking for. You just say video games, like that can mean anything, honestly, now these days. If you're looking for something like GameCube, N64, Sega, show them that you have a particular interest in a certain kind of video game. One of the favorite ones that I like bringing up, I do this little motion. I'm like, you have any handheld systems? You know, that could be like, oh, I have a DS Lite. Oh, I have a Game & Watch, even better. And they might bring that out as well. And if you're not into video games, tell them what exactly you're looking for. I'm looking for anime. I'm looking for 90s anime. I'm looking for 90s toys, Power Rangers, SpongeBob, Bratz dolls. Whatever you're looking for, be detailed, and you're more likely going to have them bring out what you're looking for.
We see a lot of people fail when they ask for video games, as an example, because they just ask for video games. That detail is important. So what we tend to do is say, do you have any video games? And some people will know, yes, I do. Some people will say no. And you know what? It's a good idea to go into detail even though they already said no. For example, we'll say, did you have any video games? They'll say no. We'll say, are you sure? What about PlayStation, old Sega, Game Boy, handhelds? And then suddenly they're like, oh, you know what? I do have a Wii. Are you interested in Wii stuff? It happens all the time. I would say at least half the time that somebody says no, they don't have any video games, They do when we go into detail. So give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? They say no again and you've wasted 5 seconds. That's fine. If you can get a yes half the time, definitely worth it. So we hope you enjoyed this list. This is the core of what we love doing, right? Game hunting. And if you enjoyed it, please comment below that you did or what you learned from it, and give us a like. We want to do more of these because there are way more than 5 topics to cover.
So which topic that we reviewed today are you going to implement in your next yard sale? Comment below. And if there's anything that you think that we need to add to this list, also let us know.
And it's likely that it's probably going to show up in a video in the future, but it's still fun to hear and talk about the passion that we all share. So thank you for watching, and remember, the couple that goes yard sailing and hunting for video games together stays together. Take care. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.